Can you imagine how disastrous it would be if you were pulling your RV down the road, a tire blew out, and it took out your propane line? Well, I'm going to tell you about a device that can help protect you and your family in this episode of Travels with Delaney.
I can hear the I can hear the
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick, and if this is your first time here at Travels with Delaney, welcome. We're your channel all about RVing and living life to the fullest. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about a device that could protect your trailer and your family from a major gas leak, that being propane. Most of us, when we think about our propane systems in our RV, just think about using it for cooking and heating water and maybe for heating. But we don't really think about potential issues primarily when we're trailering down the road. If you were to have a tire blow out, tire blowouts can do lots of damage. And it's not uncommon for propane lines to be ran right along the frame of the trailer near those tires. And so it's possible that a blown tire could actually take out your propane line. And if that were to happen, potentially you could have propane just pouring out. And then if you think about it, you could potentially have sparks from a blown tire causing it to ignite. That would spell disaster. So when the people over at GasStop reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love for you to try out our product that could help prevent a major disaster, I said, absolutely. And so in this episode, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you that product, how it works, and I'm going to go ahead and get it installed on the trailer. They also sent me a bonus product, so make sure you stay near the end of this video so you can also see another great product. This is the GasStop. Now, it looks pretty simple. It kind of just looks like one of those pressure gauges you get for your propane tank, but it's so much more than just that. This is the only device that I'm aware of out there that will 100% shut off your propane if there's a major leak. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I want to talk about three major benefits of this simple device. The GasStop is a pretty simple looking device, and yet it's highly engineered to help protect your trailer and your family. Now, it really serves three purposes, like I mentioned. Number one, it's going to go ahead and completely shut off propane flow if there is a major leak. So again, if you're going down the road, you blow out a tire, it breaks your propane line. The minute it senses that, propane's cut off, and we avert a disaster. Hopefully, this device never has to do that for you. But if you were to have a major propane leak, it will kick in and shut off that supply. The second thing that it does is it can help you identify if you have a slow leak. Now, no, this will not shut off if you have one of those slow leaks, because honestly, this device can't tell the difference between when you're, let's say, cooking versus when there's a slow leak in the system. But what it can do is you can run a test with it, and I will show you how to do that, so that you can find out if potentially there is a slow leak in your system. And it's a simple test that you could do every time you get ready to go camping, just to make sure. And finally, you'll notice here on the top, it has a pressure indicator. And this is going to let you know, number one, if your system is pressurized, and number two, it's going to let you know about how much propane is in your tank. So as opposed to always guessing, are you close to full or are you close to empty, you're going to have this right on top. Now, as far as installation, this is one of the simplest installations you will ever do to help protect your RV and your family. So all this does is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this onto our 20-pound propane cylinders here on our Lance travel trailer, and then we're going to hook up the lines that come from the regulator for the trailer to this. So in essence, we're just going to unscrew the line from our 20-pound tank, put this on, and then reconnect. That's how simple this setup actually is. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shut off my propane on both of my tanks. Now, because I do have two tanks on our trailer, I will actually need to install one of these on each tank, and so we'll do that. Now that I have my propane shut off, let's go ahead and unscrew this one, and now all I have to do is attach the GasStop right to the propane cylinder, just like that. Now, one of the features I love about this is this indicator up top, it actually rotates, so you can put it in a position that's easy for you to read. So I've got that right the way I want it. good and snug. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reattach the hose that goes to my trailer's pressure regulator. And now that I have that one attached, I can go ahead and open up the valve on my propane tank. Now initially, you're going to notice that it shows there's nothing there. That's because you need to, in essence, prime the GasStop. So all you have to do is press down just a few times. And now I can see my needle has actually moved up and it shows that this particular tank is full. So now the system is pressurized and we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and grab the other GasStop and let's go ahead and get that one installed real quick. All right, I'm just going ahead and hooking up the second one. I'm going to go ahead and turn my propane on. And again, just a few taps down. And I have pressure on both of these. So the system is hooked up and ready to go. Let's run a little test to show how this will actually work. So obviously you can use the gauge here to know how much propane is in there. And both of my tanks are basically full. That was purpose number one. Now let's try purpose number two, which is detecting a slow leak. Now again, it's not going to shut your system off if there's a slow leak, but you can check your system using the GasStop. The way I would check to see if we did potentially have a slow leak is, once I know that I have propane throughout the trailer, and the easiest way to do that is go in and light a burner on the stove and let it burn just for a few seconds. That way we know we don't have air in the line. Then I would shut the stove off, I would come back out, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut both of my propane tanks off. And I'm just going to wait, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds up to a couple minutes, and I'm going to check the gauges. If at any point we start seeing those gauges go down, that's going to be an indicator that we may have a slow leak in our system, because we've shut the supply off, but because the gauges are pressurized, if propane is actually leaving, then obviously that's going to drop. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick demonstration here for you so you can see how that would work. So now I'm going to simulate a slow leak. So I've hooked up this hose to my propane tank. I have the propane on and I've pressurized the system. What I've done is I have just taken this and poked a small hole in it to simulate a slow leak. So just like if we were going to run our test where I would go in, turn something on, make sure there's no air in the line. I know I have pressure, it's pressurized. I'm going to go ahead and shut this tank off. And what we want to do is we want to keep an eye, and you can see it's already going down because we have this slow leak, so all of our propane. So when we see that moving down like that, that tells us we may have a slow leak in our system, and then we would have to begin investigating why. Now I want to demonstrate how the shutoff works when there is a major leak. Now remember, on the slow leak, it's not actually going to shut it off. If you want to find out if you potentially have a slow leak, you have to actually run that test. But with the major leak, where maybe your tire blows out and it busts your propane line, I'm going to show you how that works. So what I've done is, now I've really sacrificed this hose. I've cut off the end. I have a pair of pliers clamping it down. And what's going to happen is we are fully pressurized. We're going to simulate the line being cut to where the propane is just going to pour out. And instantly we've lost pressure. Now, if we did not have the GasStop on, propane would have just been pouring out continuously, and that could have created a very risky situation for us. There you go, the GasStop. Could save your RV, could save your life. But at a minimum, it helps you know how much propane you have in your tank, and it can help you diagnose if you might have a small leak in your propane system. Now, I said if you made it to the end of the video, I was going to tell you about another great product from the people over at GasStop, and that is this hose right here. Now, you might say, well, what's so special about it? It's a propane hose. This right here is what makes it special. It's a 90-degree hose. So now we're pretty fortunate with our Lance because it has a big cover that goes over our propane tanks, so we don't really have a space issue with our hoses. But if you have a traditional style propane setup where you have one of those plastic covers that slips down and over, they tend to be very tight, and then when you put the GasStop on, you don't have a lot of room to work with, and you're pinching. What this does is it allows you to have a 90-degree fitting that you put onto your GasStop, and it's just going to make that much easier when you go to slip that propane tank cover on. And so you can see it says right on here, Gas Gear by GasStop. So you can check that out. Now I'm going to put the link to their website down below. I'm also going to put a code for you so you can save 10% on your order and get free shipping. I think it's a great product. We're using it on our trailer, and honestly, from a safety standpoint, it gives us peace of mind when we're hauling down the road, and it also gives me a lot of other great features that we're using. So if you have any questions or comments, maybe you already have the GasStop, let me know down below in the comments. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you on down the road. Good night.